Hi guys, welcome to SoccerNet Weekly. My name is Joba Ogunwale, the chief editor of SoccerNet.ng. I'm here once again with one of the best analysts, sports analysts that I've met. His name is Raymond Tolulope. Hi Raymond, how are you doing?
Yeah, very good morning to you, Joba. Good morning out there. I'm fine. I'm fine. And you? How is Lagos?
Lagos is fine. Lagos is chill. So we've not had
Mm,
rain for some time now, but it's kind of chill, sharp. So let's get
no
down
problem.
to business. Thank you for coming on the show.
Always my pleasure.
Yeah. This last week there was one major news, and that news is about the Nigerian former Super Eagles star Ndubuisi Ego that won the Albanian Top
Yeah.
Flight League. So let me start by asking you that what do you make of that success?
Well, I mean, it's a record-breaking victory. I mean, it kind of something that has never happened before in the history of the Black Race. Now, it's a victory for the Black Race because don't forget there have been calls for racism over time, and we all know what has been happening. We all know how how various sport has come up with the fight against racism in recent times. And the victory of Undibusi Ego now means that he's the first black man to qualify a European team to the qualifying stages of the Champions League. That is FK Tirana of FK KF Tirana rather of Albania. I mean, it's a victory for everyone, for Nigerians, for Africa, and that is just not even it. The moment if FK Tirana can get straight to the Champions League group stage, that will be another resounding victory for the former Nigeria. A lot of people don't actually know him. Of course, it takes success for a name to be known. And Ludo Bisegbo, he was at the 2002 African Cup of Nations. I mean, he had 12 cup for Nigeria. And of course, he's played for Nitel Vasco in Enugu, played for Lepo of Lagos, Julius Baja, also of Lagos. I mean, before moving to El Masari in Egypt, he had a brief stint with Maoka Soles in South Africa before moving to Albania, where he made name for himself with Tirana. And of course, Billy's. Yeah, he had two teams he played for right there in Albania. Before, I mean, he was being trusted after their coach was sacked. I mean, he was former goalkeeper coach trainer at Tirana, and he was being trusted before repeated that feat, he made that feat for Tirana. So, like I said, the resounding victory for him. It's just putting the map of Nigeria over there in the world. Of course, a victory, like I said, for the Black Nations.
Yeah, you've said it all. I think it's actually a very very good thing. You know, let's even forget about him being Nigerian. It's rare for you to see black manager winning, given opportunities in Europe's top flight league. So I think he's a base.
Definitely.
Let me say a trailblazer. You understand? But on Monday I wrote a piece, and I think the piece generated a lot of reactions. But I would like to ask for your view. I said Ego is actually a former Super Eagles player. And recently there have been some, especially from criticism from Segun Odegbami and some former Super Eagles stars also, former Super Eagles International, about NFF not giving them enough opportunities with the national team.
No opportunity.
Yeah. So what do you?
Mm.
In my piece, I said okay, they can learn one or two things from Ego about not waiting for national team jobs and creating an opportunity for themselves. What do you think? What are the lessons that some of these guys can learn from Ego's success?
Of course, when we talk about the national team job being the top, I would totally agree that Nigeria has been given a chance because before Genetrop came on board, from 2002 down to 2014, thereabout, we have enough local based coach. We started from Onigbede in 2002, moving to Christian Chukwu, Augustine Iguavon, and Shuaibu Amodu. I mean, even though he was denied the chance to take us to World Cup 2010. And not forgetting late Stephen Kechi, and of course, Shuaibu Amodu again.
Yeah,
Before we
Samson
had
Siasa also.
Samson Siasa also, before we had Genetrop. So if you say they haven't given local coaches chances, then that would be false on my side. The only thing you could say is there is preferential treatment when it comes to appointing foreign coach to a local based coach. Of course, the salaries are different. I mean, there's a huge gap in there. I will agree with that. But then putting learning from Modibo Diego now, who had a stunning season right there in Albania. It's just about going out there. If Nigeria, you can't wait for Nigeria. That is one thing we should know. Not everybody will have a chance to be the coach of the national team, whether they're 17, whether they're 20, whether that's female football, or even whether it's the league. Modibo Diego didn't wait in Nigeria. Don't forget the last of people have also been away from Nigeria. And so, which means it is not just within the Nigerian setting. Go out there, get your license, CAF license, UEFA license, and of course, you can always find your way. We can't all of us can't roam about. We can't be crying. We are not be. Yes, we know our sport is somehow, but we can't be shouting. We don't have a chance. Everybody have a way of walking their path. We know the kind of country we are. We can't sit down and be shouting, like I said. When people will walk his way, then all other coaches also can also work their way. Emmanuel Amunike was appointed Tanzania coach at the time. Don't forget, Stephen Keshi also was formerly a Togo coach.
Yeah.
So we can't just, everybody, like I said, can't wait for the Nigerian job. It's even honorable when you walk away from home, you get a record. Don't forget, you will be honored and called. And I can tell you that maybe very soon, Modibo Diego might be recommended for the Nigerian team if it continues this way. It's about trying our efforts. Just like you and I are journalists, I mean, we can't say, okay, we want to work with probably a government sector. But in our own little way, we can either work our way up. And if our CV fit in, somebody else can just call us up and say, okay, guys, you guys are doing something good. I need you on board. It's not about building ourselves. It's not about waiting for the Nigerian job.
I agree with you. I pointed that out also in the article. It's not even about ego alone. Look at Sunday Oliseh. Yeah, we may say that.
Definitely.
Okay, his time with the Super Eagles was a disaster, probably because of man management problems. But after leaving the Super Eagles, he managed a side in the Dutch second division. And he almost got them up to the Dutch top flight before he was sacked. You understand? So these are players that they are not waiting for the NFF. You understand? They are creating value. They are creating opportunities for themselves. Like they are putting themselves out there. But one thing I can say is that some of these former players that have criticized the NFF, Gernot Rohr, you understand? I think the problem they have is that they are not ready to do the work. They feel it comes from a place of from entitlement. You understand? Like they feel entitled to the national team jobs. You understand? Because they are ex-internationals. But I hope that they can learn from Abel's feat right now, because Abel's profile has been on the rise since he won that league. And I won't be surprised that after Gernot Rohr leaves as Nigeria's technical advisor or manager, or whatever they call it, Abel will be appointed as his replacement. You understand? Because he has actually done it. He has proven himself. You understand? So, yes, I understand that some may say it's just the Albanian league. You understand? But we should also understand that black managers, not even African managers now, black managers are not really are not given enough opportunities to manage a top flight side in Europe. So for him to go there and for him to win the league is actually not a small feat. So I hope that some of these players that have criticized the NFF and Gernot Rohr, I hope they can learn one or two things from Abel. I'm not saying they should, everyone has to start from Europe, you understand? They have to start from Europe. You can start with the NPFL team. You can start with maybe in the local league. You can start maybe in another African league. Amunike managed Tanzania. Amunike managed an Egyptian club. You understand? You can start there instead of you waiting for a job from the NFL. So
they want to pick it from the high stand. They want to pick it from I mean, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
the national team job is attractive.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
You
the
understand?
bonuses, the money in there. But then you have to even ask them their qualifications and their man management and their technical skills. These are some things you have to look inward. As I used to say, the national team job is not a testing ground. I mean, it is what it is today. I mean, you can't tell me Super Eagles job is a job you feel like I want to test hands. This is not academics. This is a job that has a lot of thing on in there, seriousness in it. So the best hands has to take care of. Even to the 17, the best hands has to be used because from the 8th grade you build players. I mean, to get to the main national team. So everybody must be what must fit in into the system and must have the technical know-how, which is one of those things that is very very important when it comes to appointment of coach. The technical input of that coach, what is he bringing on board, matters a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of I agree with you totally. I also hope that some of these players will learn and will, instead of maybe blasting the NFL, they can take matters into their own hand and create opportunities for themselves. Moving away from Ego, the leagues, I think only the Syria is left right now. He's still in
Yeah,
action,
one more match to
and
play.
that's just one more match. Yeah. So I would like
Yes.
to, even though it's been an unprecedented season, like something we've not witnessed before in my own life
Before, definitely.
lifetime. Like the league went on a 3 months break. Like football was suspended generally, but it was still a fantastic season in some of Europe's top flight league. Madrid were the champions. Liverpool, after 30 years of waiting, they finally brought home the Holy Grail. Juve, I don't understand. Juventus won their ninth consecutive league in the Italian Serie A, even with just 2 games to go. So, but I'm not going to talk. We're not talking about the champions right now. I just want to ask of your opinion about your your top players in these respective leagues, from England to Italy and to Spain.
If I had to pick England, my best player in England, we have to definitely come from the champions. And I have talked between picking Sadio Mane and of course Virgil van Dijk, and of the two. Sadio Mane have given Liverpool a lot of winning games. I mean, he rose up to the ranks and he did so well. I don't know if people would talk about Henderson, but no, I'm picking Mane because I mean, fantastic player. As before, I mean, his input can't be underrated. The reason I'm stuck with Van Dijk plays all matches, started game, and he remains the only untouchable in that Liverpool team. At a point in time, Alisson was injured. At a point in time, Henderson was on the bench. At a point in time, Salah was missing. At a point in time, Mane was missing. But there was a certain Virgil van Dijk who was there, partner Joe Matip, partner Joe Gomez, was always ever present in that team. So I'm stuck between Virgil van Dijk and of course Sadio Mane. But I'm an African. But that has won it last. Let me give it to Sadio
Okay.
Mane. So let's go that way.
Okay.
In Spain now, definitely Karim Benzema gets this one for me. He has risen from the shadow of a certain Cristiano Ronaldo and has shown that he can lead Madrid. A chunk of their goals have come from him and he has risen to expectation. I mean, he didn't let down. I think I saw his game up since last season, even though Madrid didn't win anything last season. But then there was a kind of a back ascent. He continued this season, and even after the 3 months when he came back, and you expect some stars to actually to prime, he didn't. He continued. He didn't win the top scorer, definitely, but his goals were vital in leading Madrid to victory, and definitely was my best player for the Spanish La Liga right there. I could have gone for this Sociedad or Madrid player. I still skip my brain now. But returning from the Odegaard, returning from the 3 month break, there was a down display for each Sociedad themselves. They didn't come. I mean, they couldn't maintain the momentum. But definitely, I think that round's come down. So definitely, I'm going for a certain Karim Benzema. In Italy, Italy, fantastic. I think players on my mind will be Ciro Immobile, will be Cristiano Ronaldo, and will be Atalanta captain, Gomez, Alejandro Gomez. I think those three. But looking at what Immobile has done so far, 35 goals, 9 assists, that's a lot for a striker.
Context, a little bit of context. He has scored 12 penalties also.
Penalties are part of the game, definitely. I mean, it's if you lose the penalty, you will get 6. So you have to score. So, but then 35 goals, 9 assists, and I mean that's a whole lot. And with the way it is, Immobile will be the first Italian Serie A player to win the Golden Shoe in recent times. I mean, it doesn't really happen. The last time to score up.
That was Luca Toni. Yeah, I think that was the last.
Luca Toni, yes.
Yeah.
Luca Toni. That should be 2006. Yeah, the last Italian to score more than 35 goals after who has the highest Serie A ever. Immobile has a chance. When he going to start at the 6, he didn't have the time because there was Messi Ronaldo always scoring goals and not allowing players to win awards. But I think Immobile has a whole chance now. But then, away from Immobile, I think I'm going to go for a certain Atalanta captain. That's Gomez. Gomez has the highest assist in this century. The highest they ever had was 14, and that was a American. I think about now, the man should be on 17 or 18. I mean, it shows. And looking at what Atalanta has done this season, they are just 2 goals away from scoring 100 goals. Gomez has played a huge part in that. He will be my player of the season in Italian Serie A. A fantastic midfielder, 32 years of age at the time. He's done it all. If not for his age, I would have said teams in Europe, big teams will have come for him to come and join their ranks. But then, for me, he is the best player in Serie A. I mean, mentions to Ciro Immobile, mentions to Cristiano Ronaldo at 35 scoring goals, mentions to Ilicic, I mean, mentions to possibly Inter Milan's Lukaku. I mean, but then I think Gomez tick up boxes for me. For Bundesliga, I will go for Sancho. I mean, a lot of goals, 17 goals, 17 assists. If I'm not wrong, a young man, 20-year-old. I think it's moved. It's going to move. For me, it has to be Sancho. Nobody else. Lewandowski might have scored 35 goals in the 35 goals, but I'm going to give it to him. It's not just about the goals alone. Look at what other players are bringing on board. Football is not just goals. Yes, we know goals. But then Sancho having more than 30 goals plus assists in that league says a lot about the young 20-year-old. So Germany, Sancho, Italy, Gomez, Spain, Benzema, and of course England, Sadio Mane.
I don't know. I agree with some of your choices. I don't agree with some of your choices. I would have gone for Sadio Mane also. Obviously, because of my Liverpool affiliation, people may say that I'm biased, but the truth is, I would have gone for Sadio Mane. But there was a time Sadio Mane was not really in his best form for Liverpool. I think that was between February or so. So I think that could count against him. The obvious choice from Liverpool for me is Virgil van Dijk. I think even though he's the best centre back in the world right now, I still think he's still underrated because of the way, because of the calmness he brings to his game. You understand? He does things with ease. You understand? He does things with ease. You understand? It's not like okay. I think the last defender I didn't get to see Franco Baresi play, but I get to see some of the clips. You understand? So I think the way Van Dijk plays also is similar to that. So because he does not stress himself, you understand? That aspect of his game is totally underrated. So
definitely,
you understand? And his consistency is amazing. He played every minute of the 38th game he played in the Premier League. You understand? Yes, you may say, okay, there are some cases, there are some errors in the game against Arsenal, but that was after Liverpool has won the league. So I would say Van Dijk for me, but I wouldn't want to go for Van Dijk because I believe most of the time awards are for attackers and for midfielders. Van Dijk is probably just an exception. You understand? So I would just for me not to sound to stay objective and for me not to sound biased, I'll go for this guy, Kevin De Bruyne, because he was brilliant. Honestly, he was brilliant. 14 goals, 20 assists. I think he deserves that award.
Jọba, you know why I won't go for my Kevin De Bruyne? Yes, he had 20 assists, 14 goals. But sometimes you have to look at the importance of those goals and assists as well. You see, fantastic season for him. But you're looking at a team, he played for a team that came first second, not just second. The points are almost 20 plus points. You have 20 goals and 14, but you know, the goals and assists have to play a key role in pushing your team into titles.
Yeah, but I think what cost Manchester City the big this season was number one, Liverpool's brilliance. Liverpool was winning games. Then two, their defense. So I can't really say, okay, you can't really blame that on KDB, you understand? You can't really put that blame on KDB. So, but the reason why I've gone for KDB was that football awards generally is a function of your individual ability, not a function of team success.
And team success also matters.
Yeah, team success also matters. But look at in 2013, Madrid didn't win anything.
Ronaldo won. That was controversial.
Ronaldo won the Ballon d'Or. No, it was not controversial. Everybody agreed.
It was controversial. Because 2010 was controversial. 2013 was controversial. Last season, 2019 was controversial. Those three awards, and 2018, they were controversial.
The thing is, football awards are always subjective you understand? It is. I don't think there has been any awards where there was actually a unanimous agreement that true, this guy deserves this award. Even when Modric,
there are cases like that.
Even when Modric won it in 2018, it was still controversial because everybody believed that. Everybody said Ronaldo should have won it. Personally, I believe Ronaldo should have won it. Modric only played in 7 games. Going into the World Cup, Modric was not even a contender, you understand? So, my own view is that football awards is actually what you did individually, and you can't rule out what KDB's performance is this season. I understand the arguments for Van Dijk. I understand the arguments for Sadio Mane. Even Mohamed Salah also, I understand the arguments for that also. But just for me to to say I'm not biased and all that, I think I'll go for KDB. In La Liga, I will also agree with you that it's Karim Benzema. And this is also the same issue we have in England, this argument. Some might say Lionel Messi, you understand? Messi scored 23 goals and recorded 20 assists or so. You understand?
25 goals,
25 goals and 21 assists. And Benzema scored I think 21
goals.
21 goals, you understand?
I think 21 goals.
So, but the reason why I'm going for Karim Benzema is because Karim Benzema was actually Real Madrid's star player. He delivered, he came up with the goods most times. Yeah, you understand? So he delivered when it matters, you understand? He won games on his own for Madrid. You know, everybody was saying Madrid will struggle after Ronaldo departed. Benzema has stepped up to the plate and he has delivered wonderful work. Going in prior to the break, Madrid were actually 2 points behind Barcelona.
2 points behind Barcelona.
But they went on an amazing run, drawing just one of their
10 matches.
Yeah, drawing just one of their
10 matches straight win.
You understand? I think they drew their last game against Leganes.
Their last game after confirming the title.
So I think, and they owe that to Benzema's performances. I would disagree with people that say okay, Lionel Messi, because in Messi's case also it's just like Van Dijk's case also. He's under as in because he does things normally, so we take it as normal. You understand? So
That's why I said. But that's why I said when we're looking at statistics, sometimes we have to look at the contribution of the statistics. Lionel Messi statistics beats everybody in Spain. Kevin De Bruyne statistics in England beats everybody in England. But that contribution of that statistics, what key thing did he do into your team? That is where I want to bring it from. Benzema star, though lower than Messi, definitely propels Madrid into victory. Kevin De Bruyne star couldn't propel Manchester City. Lionel Messi star couldn't propel Barcelona.
Okay.
Van Dijk star propel Liverpool to victory.
Let me use that your logic then.
Okay.
I've agreed with you that okay, Benzema is actually my La Liga player of the season also. Now coming to the Italian Serie A and the German Bundesliga, you mentioned Papu Gomez. I agree with you. I agree and I disagree. Papu Gomez didn't win the league. His performances, his stats was not key to Atalanta winning the league. You understand?
Atalanta.
Yes.
Okay.
So why is it that okay, now went for Papu Gomez and not for Silva?
Okay, thank you. Now I go for Papu Gomez. Number one, he's breaking a record. He's setting a new standard. He's the first player in the 21st century to have 15 La Liga assists. As of today, the man will be having 17 or 18 presently. That's the highest in this century and almost the highest ever in a single Serie A season. That's number one. Wait, let me learn. Number two, Atalanta is a revelation this season. Finally third, I think that one yesterday, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Finally third of the league. I mean, it shows how much he contributed to the success of that team. Juventus will always be a favorite. 9 titles in a row. It should be, whether there is a Cristiano or there is no Cristiano, they will win that league. But we see something different from a different man entirely, setting a new standard in new life. That is what I'm going to go for.
Then you should have gone for Immobile also, because Lazio were not favorites. Also, we can say okay, Lazio and Atalanta are on the same level.
On the same pedestal. Yes, I could have gone for Immobile because also something brand new happening to that 29-30-year-old guy. But then Immobile, I want for me, I'm not just playing for goal scorers.
Okay.
We must be able to look at every point on the pitch of play. I look beyond goals when I watch football. Immobile is a striker, fantastic, but Gomez, a midfielder, I can't. That's why I said I was torn between Gomez and Ciro Immobile. But looking at it very well, I'm definitely going to go for Papu Gomez. Immobile, fantastic, does so well, but I still stick with my Papu.
I've always loved Papu Gomez ever since I got to know him. But I think he did very well this season. He has done very well this season. I still don't understand why he has found it difficult to break into Argentina's squad. But you can't ignore the fact that Ciro Immobile is actually on the verge of history. He needs just 2 goals to break Gonzalo Higuain's record.
Yeah.
So for that, I will pick Ciro.
I think the penalties have taken the shine of Ciro Immobile.
Yeah.
I think he's had 50 penalties this season.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong. So I think that has taken that shine. And I think in the top 5 leagues this season, Italy has awarded the most penalties. Yes. I think 176 the last time of counting, close to 200. It shows a lot. I know thanks to the rules of handball that I have always disagreed with. It's coming a lot of controversies, and in fact, we have not seen anything. We just started because we will see more penalties coming in next season with these rules. I mean, I think they have to find a way of changing it because it makes football look lazy for me. I can as well.
I think in the handball rules case, I think it is left to the referee, center referee, to use his discretion in such cases. But I think there will be some changes some changes. Going by the new rule they are set to introduce ahead of next season. I think there will be some changes. But I believe my own. I understand Papu Gomez has done brilliantly, but I'll go for Ciro Immobile. And finally, in the German Bundesliga,
Okay.
I won't rule out the fact that Sancho has done brilliantly. Even this guy Alan, that he joined in January and he was named. I think he was named Borussia Dortmund Player of the Season.
Alan.
That's right. Yeah, so I won't. They've done well, but also just like in Immobile's case, I've gone for Lewandowski. So that's why I'm not disputing the fact that Sancho is not actually a deserved winner. Also, he actually to produce 17 assists and score 17 goals is actually no mean feat for, especially for a 19-year-old who is yet to reach his
peak.
You understand? So I kind of agree with you. But anyways, it's actually been a very football season full of goals, you understand, and interesting situations. But the Serie A ends this weekend, and there's the FA Cup final also this weekend. Then
this weekend.
Then we now
move to the Champions League.
Then we now focus on the Champions League
and
the Europa League, and hopefully by September, when most of these leagues will kick off again, hopefully there will be a solution to this coronavirus situation that we are currently facing. Anyways,
hopefully.
Thank you, Raymond, for coming on the show, and I hope that once we call you again, you will eat to our call.
Yeah, definitely. My pleasure always to do this every time. Always available.
Yeah.
When the time is right.
Yeah, thanks. So, guys, this is the end of this week's show, and you can check this video out on our YouTube page at SoccerNet.ng, and you can click on the subscribe button to get more of these videos anytime it drops. So, thank you. Have a nice weekend. Bye.